the goal and the intent of our Monday growth calls are really focused around, one of the 8 accelerated growth factors. And this month we've really been talking about systems and processes. And so one of the other things that I want to kind of point out, the additional benefits of these Monday calls. One, we dive into a specific, piece of content, something to hopefully sink your teeth into a little bit or revisit. But it's also just a great opportunity for us to, reset, refocus, and also kind of reignite the week and make sure, because we all have so much stuff going on coming out of the weekend. And it's just really kind of important to really, reset, make sure we're dialed in. And I just have seen a lot of kind of all over the place. And, Coach was talking about a little bit of it today, and we all feel it as we go into the summer months, because our whole bodies, or think about it, our whole lives, we've been programmed to kind of relax during these few months during, how school is structured. So we tend to fall off the wagon a little bit this time of the year. So it's really important to be able to get things back on track. And so I really want to walk you guys through the process that has had the greatest impact on my productivity over the last really about 3 years now. And it really comes down to being intentional with our time and really planning out the entire week. And it comes down to, the Sunday Planning 168. And I think you guys, if you haven't downloaded the 168 document, Z, what is it? I think it's 168, Sunday Planning, Sunday 168. You think I would know this?
Sunday Planning 168.
Sunday Planning 168. There you go. Thank you, Mr. Foster. So if you guys haven't downloaded and gone through that process, it really has been the absolute game changer for me. And I know, for a lot of you that have embraced it, and I'll not pick on, but I'll reference Renee here in a little bit as we kind of talk through things, because I know it really helped her. And especially, when a lot of our worlds got thrown upside down with kiddos now being home, a couple of years ago. And so where we had to get that, what is the most important, and that just comes down to execution. And for me, I tell you, the weeks that I am able to sit down and lay this out are the most productive weeks that I have ever. And, have I half-assed it? Have I shortcut the process a little bit? Yeah, absolutely. But I can feel it that week. And so really being intentional with laying that out, getting crystal clear. And the big thing is that, I always say, if it doesn't make the calendar, it doesn't happen. I have the best of intentions, Mr. Hillsman, but I know if it doesn't make the calendar, it doesn't happen. And that's just a little reminder. And that comes back down to the lessons learned, right? When you review the lessons, like, damn, I missed this. Like, I've got 3 people that I've missed just because I haven't put it in the calendar to be able to follow up with them. It's a game changer. Was there something else that I wanted to say on that? I think that's it. Any questions, thoughts that you guys have around the allocation of getting clear and then what goes in the calendar? The calendar will set you free. I promise you it will. And the more that you get dialed into it, the more freedom you'll have. Here's a little nugget. So when I really started committing to the calendar, and you got to keep in mind, we were day ones. We were day ones on Gmail. Like the second Gmail beta came out, we were all over it. So we've been in that world and in their calendar for that long. We would be super intentional with trying to make sure we were as detailed and specific as possible. But what I found, and this is where you guys might need to put some of this in there, I used to call it flex time. And it's not T flexing in the mirror. It's actually flexible time. And what I had to do in the business is I had to put about 30 minutes every morning and 30 minutes every afternoon. And because we were in the office every day. And you know, when you're in the office, people pop by, and no matter what, even if you got your door shut, locked, barricade, you got, gatekeepers, people still gonna get to you. And what I would find is that if I got behind in the calendar, I felt defeated. And I don't know if you guys have ever felt that way as you're working through your calendar and now you're 45 minutes, an hour off, and then you're just like, screw it, this thing doesn't work, and you abandon it. So what I would do is I put flex time in there, knowing that I had a little buffer if I got thrown off, that I'd be cool. I got a buffer time. I can get right back on track. And then I did 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the afternoon. So I had about an hour of buffer time each day. And then over time, it became 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon. And then it just graduated to where it is today, is I just don't have any, just because I know how to navigate it because I've been doing it for so long. But what I would recommend is, like, if you fully haven't embraced the details inside of the calendar, then put some buffer time in there. For those of you that have assistants that are working for you, if they're kind of embracing an executive assistant type of role, remember, so an executive assistant has two primary responsibilities: communications and calendar. That's their two primary objectives. And so if you have somebody, they can help be the gatekeeper to your calendar. My belief on the ISA model is that your ISA, if you're in production and you have an ISA that's directly working with you, they're your executive assistant as well. And so they're responsible for getting things in your calendar, blocking things off. What I would give you a little caution, if you do give access to somebody that has access to your calendar and putting things in your calendar, establish some guidelines. So I had a 24-hour rule, meaning that you couldn't put anything in my calendar less than 24 hours without my written permission. Like, you had to get me to sign off on it that you could put something in my calendar. And I mean, I had to, it's not the best leadership style, but I had to learn people a couple times, right? I would just no show. If they put something in my calendar and they didn't get my approval, I just wouldn't show up, even if I was available, because that's the point, right? You gotta stick to those guidelines. Because for me, mentally, I already know where I'm allocating that time. You'll get to that point, right? You're like, hey, I know I got a spot open tomorrow. Hey, let me follow up. T might shoot me a text, say, hey man, you got a second to chat. In my mind, mentally, I know where that time's available. And so if you've got somebody that's helping you run gatekeeper on your calendar, just establish some guidelines. It'll save a lot of frustration.